Just hit the unfollow button. I don't need your business.
Babe, what business do you mean?
There's no doubt that she drove the final nail into this movie's coffin. She probably drove the final 2 or 3 nails into the coffin.
Yeah, right there. Zoom in right there. That's it. 163,000 rating, of which it got 1.6, not out of 5.
Rachel Zegler is freaking out after show tickets just dropped to $0 after she trashed Disney's Snow White. Who does she think she is?
For a very long time, it seems that nobody has quite captured the public's disdain like our girl, Rachel Zegler. The damage had been done.
Now we believe, but just so she knows, studios won't touch her again for any future projects. And Hollywood didn't cancel her. She canceled herself.
Love you.
You love me?
Love you so much.
I love you. I get stopped for photos every time I'm online for the Snow White ride, and it is I have to pretend like, oh God,
I love you.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Rachel Zegler went from being Steven Spielberg's chosen one to headlining a show where the ticket price is literally $0. Free? Nada. You can now watch her perform for the same cost as breathing air. And you're telling me this wasn't some freak accident? Nope. This was a full-blown self-inflicted career demolition.
At this point, she sort of feels like the poster child for it. What's really interesting is that Zegler's fall from grace has been a very satisfying watch for plenty of people.
Let's rewind the disaster tape back in 2020. Hollywood couldn't shut up about this girl. Spielberg picked her from over 30,000 audition tapes for West Side Story. People were calling her a prodigy, a once-in-a-generation talent. And hey, maybe she was for like 5 minutes. She even grabbed a Golden Globe at just 20. You'd think the universe handed her the ultimate Hollywood starter pack. Talent, hype, Spielberg's blessing. And then Disney walks in like, here's Snow White, kid. Don't mess it up.
Snow White just bombed at the box office again. How the hell did that happen? You've heard of a movie flopping at the box office, but have you heard of a movie flopping at the box office twice in 2 months?
Well, she messed it up. In just 3 years, she went from Disney royalty to Broadway pity pricing. Imagine being so insufferable, so publicly unlikable, that your show has to be downgraded to pay what you want. That's not art. It's damage control. It's like watching someone try to cook a steak and burn down the entire kitchen instead. But wait, let's not even blame Snow White yet. Let's talk about where this train started derailing. West Side Story. Ah, yes, the musical that critics loved and audiences ignored. How bad was it? Globally, it scraped together $76 million on a budget of over $100 million. That's not underperformance. That's a financial faceplant.
It wasn't sincere because she's had a long history of saying woke, annoying things. Our new Snow White.
And what did Rachel do? Accept the flop with grace? Of course not. She blamed white audiences for the film's failure because clearly it couldn't have anything to do with people not wanting yet another woke remake shoved down their throats, right? Nah, must be racial privilege. Her words, not mine.
So for the life of me, I don't understand why she's insisting on pronouncing Spanish words and names with a Spanish accent that she doesn't have in a language that she doesn't speak.
Puerto Ricans, Maria, Latina, Maria.
And let's talk about that fake Spanish accent. Girl doesn't even speak Spanish, yet suddenly she's rolling her RS like she's auditioning for Tell Undo. Even actual Latino fans were like, can you not? It was performative, forced, and downright embarrassing.
Anyway, in one clip, she calls the Sharks, the rival gang of the Jets in this new version of West Side Story, a rainbow of the Latino community, and then struggles to name what constitutes Latino diversity.
Then came the interviews. Oh, the interviews. Rachel somehow decided that every press tour needed to double as her personal TED Talk. She started dissecting West Side Story like it was some college thesis on post-colonial identity. Someone should have reminded her that it's Romeo and Juliet with dance battles, not a dissertation.
I mean, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird.
But West Side was just a warm-up act. The real show, her kamikaze-style destruction of Disney's Snow White. Where do we even begin with this one? Instead of promoting the movie like a normal person, Rachel marched straight into press interviews with the same energy as a teenager who just finished their first gender studies class. She called the original 1937 Snow White outdated, dumb, and oh yeah, said the prince was a stalker. That's right, the guy who kissed a poisoned princess to save her life. Stalker vibes, apparently.
Not a bug. And before long, her trashing the original pieces of the adaptations that she was performing in became kind of common.
She kept digging. This Snow White doesn't dream of true love, she said proudly. She dreams of leadership, because clearly what every 6-year-old girl wants in her fairy tale is corporate ambition. Instead of magic and wonder, we get PowerPoint presentations and feminist manifestos. Awesome.
She's not going to be safe for the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true.
I'm a narcissist.
And what happened next? Chaos. Actual Disney fan forums were in full meltdown mode. Reddit threads started popping up titled, and I quote, "Rachel Zegler is destroying Disney with her mouth." Even Disney itself started panicking. Internally, they pulled her from merch, delayed the movie's release, and essentially began phase 1 of the Rachel Eraser program. You know your career's in free fall when the company that cast you as a literal princess is quietly trying to pretend you don't exist.
So she came out and took a large dump on half of the country. Everyone who voted for Trump. I remember her words.
She hopes they know no peace. Or
Right.
something really.
And that Trump knows no peace.
And just when you think it can't get any worse, oh, honey, it does. Welcome to the part where she basically tries to cancel half her audience. In 2020, she hops on Instagram and types out this gem. F Donald Trump, may Trump supporters never know peace. Yep, that's an actual quote. So now it's not just Disney fans she's lost. It's half the country. And again, remember, she's working for Disney, the company that sells magic and safety to suburban moms and theme park dads. And she's out here throwing curses like she's Regina George on a power trip.
I just think it is terrible. She's been brainwashed into believing that Trump is this hateful figure, and to combat it, she released a bunch of hateful messages that said she hopes that Trump supporters never find peace and that Trump never finds peace.
But she didn't stop there. She doubled down on TikTok like she was campaigning for most unhinged influencer of the year. Vote Kamala Harris. It's non-negotiable. She said, "If you disagree, I don't need your business." You don't need their business. Are you sure about that? Because your movie's box office says otherwise. Your theater ticket sales definitely say otherwise. You might want to reconsider needing someone's business.
The man's already been almost assassinated twice, so maybe check the rhetoric. So I attacked her, and then she came out and she said, I apologize. Like I went too far.
And no surprise, those comments went viral, but not in a wow. She's so brave kind of way. More like it did, she seriously just say that type of moment. Even liberals were side-eyeing her, because there's a difference between having an opinion and launching a full-scale verbal war on your own audience. Meanwhile, Disney said nothing, not a word. But if you know how PR works, silence isn't neutrality, it's strategy. As one insider put it, that's code for we're working on making this disappear quietly. And poof, Rachel Zegler began fading from promotional world faster than your favorite discontinued cereal.
She's an asshole. That's number one.
You called her a pig?
She's a pig.
The best part, she did all of this by herself. No scandal, no leaked tapes, no surprise controversy, just her, a microphone, an endless supply of terrible judgment. It's not even a case of Hollywood turning on her. It's a case of her handing Hollywood the scissors and then standing still while they cut her out of frame. Rachel Zegler's career went from Spielberg's darling to Broadway's clearance rack in record time. She had the crown, and she threw it into the dumpster herself. And the worst part, she still acts like she's a victim.
And for a lot of people, the progressiveness in them felt quite forced. But a lot of Rachel Zegler's initial stupidity really could have just been chalked up to being a young person and growing up in a very, very politically polarized period of time.
So Rachel Zegler thought she could fix her crumbling Hollywood reputation by going back to the stage. Bold move. You know, after torching Disney, alienating half of America, and treating press interviews like political rallies. You'd think she'd lay low, but nope. Rachel looked at the flaming wreckage of her movie career and said, "Let's take this energy to Broadway, because nothing says fresh start like dragging your drama into live theater."
I never want it to come off as me being ungrateful for the opportunities I have. I can also be having the greatest time and simultaneously wishing people would stop sending me death threats.
She landed the role of Eva Peron in Evita at the London Palladium, a role played by legends like Patti LuPone and Madonna. And let me tell you, it started with buzz, then nosedived straight into public humiliation. Tickets for this musical were originally going for $500. $500. You'd expect magic for that price, right? A vocal master-ass, a performance of a lifetime. Instead, what you got was Rachel Zegler pulling the most bizarre stunt Broadway has seen in years.
She's dumb, but maybe she'll learn. You know what? Whatever I called her, it worked.
So, picture this. You shell out a small fortune, dress up, show up to the iconic Palladium Theater, and wait for that legendary moment. Don't cry for me, Argentina. You're thinking, here it comes. The chills, the power, the spotlight. But wait. Rachel's not on stage. Where is she? Oh, she's on the street, literally singing to the fans outside the theater. Not joking. She walks onto a balcony and belts a song to the crowd, standing on the pavement for free, while you, the actual paying audience, are inside watching the whole thing on a TV screen. Yes, you paid $500 to watch a grainy screen, like it's 2003 and you're borrowing your cousin's bootleg DVD. Memes popped off instantly. My favorite. Paid $500 to watch Rachel Zegler through a monitor. Peak Broadway scam. And they weren't wrong. People felt robbed. Nobody signed up for a concert simulcast. This wasn't theater. It was a poorly directed TikTok experiment.
The movie opened on 4,200 screens back on March 21st. It did $42 million domestic opening weekend, and then it fell off by a significant 66% the following weekend. Over the next 7 weeks, its theater count would dwindle to just 310 screens.
You know what made it worse? Rachel wasn't even bad. Critics actually said she was vocally solid. Strong stage presence, good projection, but none of it mattered. Nobody cared how well she sang when the show felt like one giant prank. The damage was done. And when ticket prices started crashing down to pay what you want, you could feel the desperation leaking through the curtains. Some nights, it was literally free. As in, toss a coin if you feel like it. Free. From $500 to charity case pricing in a matter of weeks. That's not a rebrand. That's a public relations obituary.
Cartoon was made 85 years ago, and therefore it's extremely dated when it comes to the ideas of women being in roles of power.
And the mess didn't stop with Evita. Oh no, this behavior was also happening during Snow White. Disney allegedly started editing her out of the film. Think about that. You're the lead. You're playing Snow White. And the studio is quietly minimizing your screen time like you're a background tree. Not only that, they scrub her from marketing posters, merch, and even remove her image from stores like she was never there. That's not subtle. That's exile.
new and improved Maria, who was just this multi-dimensional character rather than this kind of black and white individual that I think a lot of people remember from Carol Lawrence's performance or Natalie Wood's performance.
Producers of Evita even admitted they regretted casting her. Regretted it said they had to reshape the entire vision of the show just to fit Rachel's creative direction. That's a polite way of saying she hijacked production and made it worse. She turned two massive opportunities into full-blown headaches for everyone involved. But if you think all that chaos stayed behind the curtain, oh, sweet summer child, welcome to the PR nightmare that is Rachel Zegler offstage. Let's start with one of her most impressively tonedy moments, her Jimmy Kimmel Live appearance. Rachel told a story about how a man once sang the line Maria to her. Yes, from West Side Story. As she was coming out of the bathroom at a Chili's. Did she laugh it off? Smile politely? Nope. She told Kimmel the interaction ruined her night, and she left the restaurant. Girl, if you can't handle a drunk fan singing a musical lyric at a Chili's, how are you surviving Hollywood?
She also comments on how great the team she worked with was, which is very nice, but she also emphasizes that she isn't hyping up the film just to win awards, which feels like a bit of a weird thing to say.
Of course I want to win awards. I'm a human being.
And that was just the appetizer. Rachel kept serving cringe on a silver platter. She complained about fans asking to take pictures with her at Disneyland. Said she had to pretend to like them. That's right. She mocked the exact people who supported her career. What kind of Disney princess drags her own fan for being excited? Apparently, one that thinks humility is optional.
And I, for sure, could be wrong here, but it absolutely makes you sound like a little bit of a jerk.
Even her humor couldn't save her. Her jokes came off cold and dismissive. One critic described her delivery as off-putting. Another said she sounded entitled, which frankly might be the kindest way to describe her entire public image.
Snow White did just that.
And, you know the saying, go woke, get broke, and Disney's going to lose money on this movie. And I believe it only made less than $1 million in China.
And the audience noticed. Fans started checking out. They weren't angry. They were exhausted. She doesn't like being Snow White. So why play her? That's what people were saying. Because when your job is to sell fantasy and all you do is complain, mock, and act like you're better than the material, people stop showing up.
As her media career grew, her interviews just got weirder.
Weird.
Then came the tears. Literal tears. Rachel cried during a standing ovation at one of her Evita shows. And instead of applause, the internet gave her side eye. People didn't buy it. Comment sections lit up with accusations of fake emotion. She's acting again, one said. Another called it damage control in real time. The moment that should have been a triumphant redemption arc turned into another PR disaster. This wasn't about talent anymore. Rachel can sing. She can act. That was never the problem. The problem was always everything else. Her attitude, her mouth, her inability to just read the room. She turned every stage into a soapbox, every interview into a lecture, and every fan into an afterthought.
What would you say to those who are just kind of overly critiquing the film at this point? You've worked so hard on it.
I'm getting on a cross here.
Hold on. All right. Congrats, Rachel.
And here we are watching someone who was handed every golden opportunity somehow fumble it all. One mic, one quote, one balcony stunt at a time. No one forced this downfall. She curated it. She crafted it. She delivered it like an artist unveiling a masterpiece of self-sabotage. Let me know when you're ready for the next round, because we haven't even gotten to the part where Hollywood officially stops calling. At this point, you'd think Rachel Zegler's phone is ringing off the hook with apology offers, studio deals, maybe a sweet Netflix comeback series. Nope. Welcome to Hollywood jail, where you're not canceled. You're just forgotten. It's like the industry's way of saying, we're not mad. We're just done. Rachel's not blacklisted in some dramatic public scandal way. No one's dragging her on live TV. She's not being chased out of restaurants, but behind the scenes, studios have stopped picking up the phone. That red carpet rolled up and locked in closet.
What made you want to step into this world of DC heroes? I needed a job. I'm being so serious.
Her name has become so risky. Some studios are doing something called A/B testing. That's where they run two versions of a trailer. One with her name, one without. And guess what? The version without her name is performing better. Imagine being so unlikable that your absence in a trailer sells better than your presence. She went from lead actress to maybe don't mention her in record time. And it's not because she's talentless. No one's saying she can't act or sing. That's the sad part. This isn't a skills issue. It's a personality issue. Directors don't want to cast someone who brings drama to the set, chaos to the marketing department, and a social media firestorm every time she opens her mouth. One director even said, "She sparks debates, not excitement." She's exhausting. She's a PR liability in an industry where playing it safe is practically a religion.
White is called Snow White in this version of the film because, of course, she is not white as snow, is because she and her family go through a snowstorm and survive the snowstorm, and so it's a mark of her resilience.
Even Disney, the studio that used to shove her face on every poster, has joined the silent protest. Her Snow White version erased. Like literally. Try finding toys with her face on them. Posters Guillaume Disney stores radio silent. It's like they went oops and hit the undo button. This isn't just corporate distancing. It's brand-level ghosting. When a house of mouse stops backing you, you're not just out of the castle, you're in the moat.
Point, what had become quite obvious and evident about Rachel Zegler is that despite whatever media training she may have had, she's very good at alienating not only her viewers, but just viewers in general with everything that she says and every social media post she makes.
And now, the only thing circulating is a rumor that she might be playing Maria in The Sound of Music. Oh, because that's exactly what the public was begging for. Rachel Zegler singing The Hills are alive with the same energy she used to call the Prince a stalker. Even before a trailer or a poster is dropped, fans are already groaning in dread. The PR disaster hasn't even happened yet, and people are bracing for impact. That's how deep this reputation spiral has gone. Nobody's excited. They're preparing for more mess. What's wild is how enjoyable her downfall has become to the public. Not because people love seeing others fail, but because Rachel made it so easy. The arrogance, the finger wagging, the endless press disasters. She practically handcrafted her own fall from grace. You ever watch someone walk straight into a rake and then blame the ground? That's Rachel. She's not the villain of a movie. She's a cautionary tale. The walking, talking lesson on what happens when ego gets louder than empathy. Hollywood didn't betray her. The press didn't invent the backlash. Fans didn't just wake up and decide to be mean. Rachel did this herself with every smug interview, every politically explosive post, and every quote that screamed, "I'm above this role, and probably you too."
Oh my gosh, I saw the well, we didn't even see, but I saw the logo and I went, that's my name. Snow White's up there. And I cried my eyes out.
And if you think this story is going to end with a Cinderella-style comeback, think again. Let's look at the scoreboard. Spielberg discovered her. She had a lead in West Side Story, Golden Globe winner, handpicked to be Snow White. And then she went on a mission, unintentionally or otherwise, to alienate every single group rooting for her. She told fans she hated the movie they grew up with. She called fairy tale princess stalkers. She mocked romantic love. She mocked political opponents. She mocked fans. She mocked nostalgia. And when she got called out, she doubled down. Every single time. Her shows flop. Her movies get delayed. Her interviews go viral for all the wrong reasons. Her tears on stage are met with suspicion. Her name in trailers is being tested like it's a marketing disease. There is no public support movement. There's no hashtag revival, just silence. The one thing Rachel never quite mastered. This wasn't some evil studio conspiracy. This wasn't an internet smear campaign. Rachel Zegler built her own platform and then used it to shout everyone away. Instead of building a community, she built a wall. Instead of being a role model, she became a warning label. Her presence used to light up premieres. Now it gives PR teams nightmares. Rachel Zegler's fairy tale is over. So hit that like, drop a sub, and stay tuned for the next Hollywood Meltdown.